Wonderful. Thank you, June. I want to say hello to everybody. If anybody missed last week, I'll quickly introduce myself, and I'll let Bill do that as well for himself. Like June said, I'm a personal trainer here, fitness trainer in Portland, Oregon. This is my gym. It's called Ramp Fitness. There is a couple things that you can do. We do have a online source, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. So if you're interested to follow along some of the things that we do. Something else I wanted to talk about this week was that I posted a video of Bill and I on my personal Instagram. So it's Mitch Wade PDX, all just one, no spaces there. And there's a video that shows Bill and I doing about 5 or 6 different exercises. A couple of them I'm going to go over today. Some of them are kind of bringing towards, a little bit of core stabilization. I'm really trying to allow for these exercises that we choose to try to pertain to as many people as possible. I do know the disease, can kind of affect people in different areas, but I do know that, some good movement patterns, regardless, can allow for everybody to receive some benefit from it. So we'll go over that in just a moment. Bill, would you like to say something and say hello first?
Hi, my name is Bill Herzberg. I have FSH. Before retirement, I practiced medicine in neurology and did neuromuscular diseases. So I'm a skeptic when it comes to any techniques that could help FSH, but I'm a believer.
That's great. Me and Bill have had a really fun adventure. He, we'll keep this real brief. We talked about it a little bit more last week, but I do want to inform some people. Bill and I ran into each other about 4 years ago. So this has been a process. It's not something that is achieved overnight, and that is with anybody in the gym in general. It's a lifestyle change and pattern that we're trying to implement and change for everybody. Trying to give some good ideas and suggestions to people. Yes, every exercise might not pertain, but that is also why we have some, suggestions. We're open to suggestions. We would love to try to bring in different things that people want to know. Last week we had a couple of great questions, a couple regarding the core, so I'm going to go into that first kind of for today. And then next week we had a couple people talking about some of the facial things that can be an issue. I did do some research and found a couple of things. There's more research out there where I would like to spend some more time with it, but I found a couple of things that would be great. So as we continue to go on through the weeks, we'll add in as much as we can, trying to get you and the listeners and followers the things that you guys want to hear. So Bill, we're going to start right away. What I had Bill do was grab a dowel piece or a broomstick. As you can see, the witch Bill over there, he's got a broomstick, and it works just fine. Mine is a dowel piece. A PVC pipe would work great. A cane would work okay. Really anything that gives you, it's a little bit more of a sturdy handle rather. And all we're going to do first is just some rotation. So on our Instagram, you can see Bill and I doing this. We did 2 exercises back to back. One of them is just the rotation where he has his hands out in front of him, and he's really just rotating left and right. Now, when I paint this image to Bill, I want him to think about certain things. I can make it to the point where, for one, let me actually go over this as well. We can sit down and do this. It's okay. You can sit, whether you're in a chair, a wheelchair, or if we're on a couch, anything like that should be just fine. So really just regress, or you can progress this exercise in a lot of different ways. When Bill is there, sometimes I'll go up and grab the handle. If someone comes up and shakes the handle and makes him have to kind of lose a little bit of balance, those are the things that I want him to think about. I have him swinging that broomstick with his arms, but his brain and body is thinking about how to bring the energy and the balance back to the midsection, the hips, the core, the abdominal areas. That's where we want to have our command center, our communication center. Bill, that's probably good. I don't want to get you too tired. Thank you very much. And so when Bill is doing that, we rotate the rib cage around. Our rotation system comes from our spine, comes from our oblique system here on our sides. We have a lot of muscle ability to go left and right, but it's more from the trunk. I don't want him to always just get his hips to do it. So if he's having troubles with that, sometimes I'll have him go feet wider. I know you're probably not able to see me too much with my adjustment on my legs, but if we go wider with the feet, one, it gives a little more stability, and 2, it kind of makes the trick go into more of the upper body for the rotation. The factor of if you put some weight on there, yeah, you could. I'm not necessarily worried about that. This is a little bit more of a warm-up and an activation exercise. There is resistance, whether we use a cable or a band, that then we could do some more twisting motions, and we're going to do one of those as well today. So I'll show you that in just a moment. Bill, I'm ready for you for number 2. I would like you to demonstrate this one first. It is that walking to overhead raise. So why don't you go ahead and scoot back a tad bit so you can walk towards us. That looks great. Bill, I want you to think about that straight line idea of the feet. So as we step forward, he's walking a straight line and throwing the arms above. Once again, distractions. We like the distractions of his limbs moving and trying to bring the balance back. Now, Bill, let's go over this real quick. Where were you at when we first kind of started this? Do you think we could have jumped into this exercise right away? Or what do you think would be a great kind of regression or starting beginning point to make it to this point eventually?
I couldn't lift my arms overhead, even with a swing, and I couldn't walk the straight line unless my legs were pretty far apart.
Okay.
Because I didn't have the balance to do that.
Absolutely. So, with that said, when Bill and I first started, one, like we went over last week with a little bit of the sword swing or the push and pull, the assistance of somebody to grab the other person's hand and do it for them, even whether it's somebody doing it or yourself doing it, your muscles are following along to the bones. Firing, they might not be. Can we? Bill and I have had extreme success with that. And that's a little bit of what we talked about last week of touching the muscles. Make the muscles be present. Make the muscles be felt. When I sit there and touch Bill and tap at his chest if we're working a chest press, he feels that. He feels that connection by me doing it. And then he knows to try to work those areas. So as we go back to how to regress this exercise here, you could be sitting and allow it to just go up and try to hold right here. If you can just barely get it off your lap, try and hold it. Then get somebody to assist it up. Feel the motion, feel the mobility of the shoulders and, wherever you're getting it from necessarily. We don't want it to be leaned back too much. I try to be pretty picky with Bill now, as we've gone through multiple years doing multiple of these exercises, to keep an upright body. So as I look from the side, I want him to be ears and shoulders and hips and knees stacked. Does it always happen? No, it's difficult. It's really hard. So don't be super hard on yourself, but do give yourself a plan. Know what you're trying to achieve here. When we throw it up, if I just see Bill go this way, we're not doing exactly what I want him to do. And that's making even more connecting parts between Bill's brain and his muscular system of how he's going to support himself and move himself around. Bill, you want to give a couple more demonstrations there? Want to go from a side view? You can stay in a split stance, maybe one foot in front of the other, and drive the arms up. Very nice. Exactly. Yeah, perfect. Now, Bill, what we're going to do here next is a little bit of what we used to do. We did this at the park, we've done it at the gyms. You can do it anywhere. And really what the idea is that you're going to hold both your arms like so, and it's just going to go out in front of you. Now, if I came up and tried to move Bill's broomstick, his body is, I'm going to tell him it's an anti-rotation. So he doesn't want to let me rotate it. He wants to try to turn on the core, the midsection, and the arms and the tension of holding the dowel stick out in front, but bring it back to here. I don't want to see you shrug. I don't want to see you lean. I want to see you create force into the ground and create stability. So if I came up and I kind of pushed Bill's dowel stick over to his right side, it's going to kind of throw his body off. And I wanted to try to bring it here. So I'd kind of come up and mess with that dowel stick a little bit here and here, and almost like as if we're just kind of wrestling a little bit. Now, when it's wrestled and it's making you have to adjust your feet and your body and your hips, you have to keep your body balance, your proprioception, your body awareness. And that has been key for Bill and I as well. Bill and I talked about this a little bit last week, and I wanted him to kind of explain a little bit as to why we want to work so much balance. And there's one thing that just totally sticks out, from one thing that he told me once, and I kind of go back to it a lot. Bill, do you remember what this is? Think about falling and some of the repercussions from falling.
Well, I would fall so much that my knees were pretty much scabbed up most of the time. Well, I had problems with falling, okay. And part of that was due to weakness. Part of that was due to poor balance. and and a lot of the techniques that Mitch and I reviewed were both to strengthen my legs, to improve my balance, and also practicing how to recover from near falls.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think I might have cut out what I was trying to reference beforehand was more of the scabs. So like, you know, having marks that we do not have anymore. So when you I'm not sure if you brought that part up, but when you told me that of, you know, hey, I haven't had a scab on my knee or my elbow in multiple months, you know, we're making progress. That was a big turnaround point for you to really kind of understand, oh, wow, that's right. I haven't really had that issue be present for a couple of months. And that's key, you know, because I mean, yes, a scab is one thing, but falling down and having a broken bone, hip, or, you know, smacking the head can be a whole different, you know, line of emergency at that point. So we really want to prevent, you know, I mean, you can't prevent, we can all trip and fall at any point. Make his body as aware as possible of how to regain balance, how to create stability, how to bring the attention back into the limb or to the core. Bill's grip is very strong. It's very, very strong. So I'll use that, but he also knows that. So if he's doing things, you know, like walking up a staircase, yes, I love to have a handrail there for him, absolutely. But I also want him to be confident of doing it with his body, knowing how to bring the energy back into the center and feeling what that feels like on a you know.
Well, June, I'm afraid that Mitch is cut out, but I can, I think, continue the thought. One way to compensate for frequent falls is to become less active. Another is to strengthen and improve balance and rehearse coming out of falls.
Good. I'm sorry, I'm having some connecting issues. Go ahead.
And we approached it in the latter way. So, Mitch, I don't know what you were cut out from saying, but I will repeat myself. One approach to avoiding falls is to become less active, to withdraw a little bit from the world. But I have not been withdrawing. I've been working on strengthening the legs, improving balance, and learning how to recover from near falls. So I can say that my improvement in terms of lack of scabs on my knees, we'll use that as the qualitative or quantitative measure, is not because of inactivity. I've been actually, if anything, walking more and going more on irregular terrain and trying to negotiate stairs and the like. And
awesome.
Anyway.
No, that's great. That's absolutely great. And, you know, I think sharing that part and elaborating the sense that, you know, it's made a huge difference, and other than just in the gym. You know, we don't just see the activities being, you know, progressed inside the gym. We see things that are actually changing in the everyday life because of the things that we're doing in the gym and because of the things that you do on a regular basis. You know, I mean, a lot of times you'll say, oh, I didn't get enough in, because you're hard on yourself, and it's good, but a little bit goes a long ways too. You know, having a couple of exercises each morning that you get up, and I call it my WD-40 list for a lot of my clients. The WD-40 meaning just get the joints and the muscles a little bit lubricated and have them, you know, move more, move well, move often, and our bodies oftentimes feel the effect from it, feel the benefit from it. And it's a great way to go.
Could you explain how you approached working with balance? I know it was kind of a sequential thing. We started just walking a line with a broad stance and getting narrower. How do you break that down so people can do balance exercises at home?
And I think that's where I go with the Dowel stick and the Dowel piece today for some of the focus exercises, is because when the Dowel piece is being forced one way, I can go a wider tripod with my feet, which gives me an instant better, you know, stability point. But like you said, Bill, if I bring your feet in and you still hold this and I push this over here, your body balance is being pulled in one direction. I need you to activate to bring it back into the center. Of course, yes, I could just try to make it go all the way over, but I want to give just enough force that it makes your opposite body, the opposite side, contract and level you out. And that is a really easy way to start, for whether we're sitting down or standing tall, you know. And then some of the exercises that Bill and I have done too, he does have some good stability standing tall. So that was you know, kind of an open door right away for being able to use his feet and his knees and his hips. So if we stood tall and I gave him this and he would hold on to this, I would say, Bill, just go a single leg, lift one leg up into the air, and I'm going to let go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I might drop it even beforehand. Of course, we need to be safe. We make sure everything around us is in a safe environment. But when he goes and all of a sudden he has the stability, that's where we create it. We do it and we do it and we do it and we do it. And eventually his brain is like, well, I got it. That's not hard anymore. And then we'll do it maybe with some resistance. And then we'll go back and I'll ask Bill, I say, Bill, how does that feel without the 15 extra pounds now? And he goes, well, that's a lot easier. And I said, well, exactly. That is strength training in a nutshell right there. And that's why we do need some weight in there. Do I need you getting down and bench pressing a couple 100 pounds? I don't. I need your muscles to fire. I want your muscles to be, proactive in the areas that we need them to go to. Yes, I remember the question asked last week with the scapula, fused more so to the arm bone. And there will be some limitations with certain surgeries and procedures to make it to the point where almost your postural is better. But allow that change to be present. Try to get as well as you can, create range of motion, allow people to help you create the range of motion. And then if you have specific questions on what kind of resistance you can add or whether you think it's safe or not, ask Bill, ask me, ask June, ask anybody like that. We would love to give you as much feedback as we possibly can. The biggest thing is consistency. We all want to move on a consistent basis. Absolutely. Bill, anything else right there?
No, I just wanted to hear more from Emma.
Yes, with all the quarantine things, when I come into the gym, it's a great break for my fiance. So I bring my dog. So I apologize for the small. She did pretty well today, but
pretty good.
She still likes to talk with us sometimes. She's a husky, so she's a talker. She enjoys the howling part, so she knows that we're going to play with the ball right afterwards.
In addition to the walking with a narrower stance and the playing with the dowel, another exercise that I thought was really good in terms of recovering from balance is coming down from the blocks while holding the horizontal stick,
yep.
And then recovering by working on the strength of one leg, the quadriceps.
Absolutely. And let me demonstrate that a little bit so I can kind of show some people what Bill is referring to. It'll be a little bit tough as I won't be able to put it all the way down, but when Bill says a step, this is the step that we use in the gym. So you'll see these in Pilates classes. It's probably about 2 or 3 inches off the ground. Any kind of a step, maybe outside or a staircase would work okay. Staircases are much larger though. So Bill and I started actually without a step. And what I would make him do was I would hold the dowel piece. He would hold the dowel piece. His grip in his hands, he feels confident there. So that's one thing that we always kept. And what I would make him do is just step forward like he's falling and then catch and come back up. Step forward like he's falling and catch and come back up. I would give him the assistance that he needed, and I would take it away when he felt confident. And yes, it worked. It took a little while. We don't do it every day. We like to have fun. We change it up. I don't just have the same exercise that we work on a whole bunch because I need this to be a lifestyle change for Bill. It's not a 3-month thing. We don't just work on that exercise for 3 months. And then once he gets it, we say, okay, see you later. Now you're good. Your body balance is fantastic. It is an everyday, multiple times a week with me and Bill specifically, but it's an everyday movement idea. So it's whether it's, having a platform like this, if you don't have it, you don't need it. Create some good ideas to make yourself feel uncomfortable. When Bill steps forward, he feels himself free falling. It's a bit uncomfortable. But guess what? Now at this time, if we do it, it's our warm-ups now. Our workout that we worked on a long time ago are now a warm-up. And that is fantastic. That showed growth right there. But it's simple. Simple and effective is key. What do you think, Bill?
I think that was great. That was such a wonderful exercise for me that gave me confidence and also showed the growth that you're describing.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. There is one thing I wanted to show. I mentioned a twist earlier. So I'm going to try to, I think you can see that just fine. So I have a band posted up to my squat rack here. Now the band is relatively light. This is what I talked about last week that you could do for the pushes or the pulls if you flipped around and made a pull. But what I want you to do here is a twist. So it's both hands on, and I make Bill step and twist, and he rotates in. This is advanced. This is much more difficult For body balance, as we do have change of direction, he does not have something stable that is not moving, because the handle, he could fall back and it would go with him. So that creates a lot more inner body balance and inner body activation of the core to make it happen. It's been very tough. It's been very tough. Bill does wear some braces on his feet. We will talk about that in a moment. That gives him a little bit of stability there as well. But we've also done it without, and it works just fine. It's from consistent movement. He has to feel that action. I have to be strict with him on certain times where it's the rotation process. I call it swishing the bug. It's like when your foot rotates, we're pushing off the ground to create force. That is one of the biggest things. And I need Bill to be comfortable with creating force into the ground. If it's a twist that's a lot heavier than that light orange band, where's the force and the power going to come from? It's from his feet. It's from his body. It's from his limbs coming back to the core and delivering the force. But it all has to work together or we do lose balance. And that's whether it's a 2-pound resistance or a 200-pound resistance. Your body will acclimate, but you have to teach it right. Teach it the correct order of operations first, and then continue to go with it. And continue to add resistance, and continue to add repetitions. There's a lot of ways to make exercises harder or easier. The biggest part, again, is consistency in doing it, having a plan.
Are you able to show the videos that you filmed, Mitch, in this format, or only by directing people to the Instagram? I can maybe use this time while Mitch is hunting to show you the braces that I was not happy with the ankle foot orthoses that were available. So I designed these with a 3D printer, and they have to be custom made. I'd be happy to share the design with anyone who's interested. So this can fit inside my shoes, and it gives me some lateral stability at the ankle and gives me passive dorsiflexion with the elastic Velcro straps.
So how does it compare to the braces you were using before that you weren't happy with?
Well, the braces that I was using before did not have a real hinge action. And they also dug into my anterior shin, which is wasted because of the loss of the tibialis musculature. And this brace that I designed does not bind at the wasted muscle. It doesn't go on the bone. So these are lighter. These have a better hinge action, so I don't feel like I'm being pushed backwards. And I can wear them under my shoes. I don't need special shoes to use them.
Great, great. So, well, thank you. Well, do send me the design. I'll post it on our Sequester Camp page.
So then that should be, those are the pictures of Bill.
Wow.
The videos
Look at it touching up in the sky. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah, so with that one on the
TRX,
yep.
Is that the nice thing about the TRX is that it allows you to break down the movement into simpler elements. You get 1 degree of freedom less movement than if you were to do it completely without any guidance. So it was that exercise that you're seeing now, what we call the golf swing, and then the press and lift, that gave me the confidence and built up the musculature enough so I can do the same movement now without the straps.
Yep. Here's the next one as well. It's just a rowing motion, huge for scapular movement here. We had that comment on the serratus anterior last week, and talking about stability before we necessarily go with mobility. We talk a lot about that, of the smooth gliding of our scapula. Really, a lot of times, wherever your arm bone goes, the scapula likes to follow. It is attached with those rotator cuff muscles. And so this is a good exercise to get kind of all the action working well. There are times where I'll just sit there and watch Bill. And if I see him shrugging too much into certain areas, we'll sit there and kind of paint the image of where the muscles are. Where are we pulling from? Where does the initiation of the pull start from? Is it the shoulder? Is it the backside shoulder? Is it your hand, your bicep? So we talk a lot about, what he's trying to, like, what the intention is, the why behind the what.
And that is really important for allowing him to then paint that picture in his brain and then establish it and connect it between brain and muscle, you know, movement and patterns there. So this is definitely a staple exercise for us. Here's the next one here as well. This one was really fun. He enjoys this. It feels great to the pec. The pec muscles being attached with that scapula back there, they do attach to it. So when we get tight, you know, front side pec muscles, it oftentimes can pull that scapula forward, bringing us a little bit more out of postural alignment. So this was a key one for him too. This last one here I liked a lot. This is the one that we were kind of demonstrating today. Shows a little bit of the sense of, you know, kind of that walking the line, and then the rotations. You can see him rotating with the dowel piece there. And I think just before this video on one that I didn't actually clip on here, I did tell him to go a little bit wider feet because I saw his knees and hips making a lot of the rotation instead of necessarily the torso up above. So there are a lot of small little secrets that do help our bodies and our brains, you know, connect the dots together. And that's really the relationship that you can build with somebody, you know, whether it's a trainer, a physical therapist, you know, even just your spouse or significant other, you know, have them pay attention to it too. You know, they know when things change, you know, when it feels good, and correlate the two. Make the adjustments when you go through it. And if it feels right and it feels good and you see some progression in everyday life, it's not a bad thing. Keep working on it. Keep it consistent. I think I want to say we skipped one of them, that one. So we must have gone a little fast. So this one was huge too, really just working that overhead slide power, you know, creating some push into the wall. So the wall assists a tad bit. If you don't have a good wall like that, or if you don't want to make marks all over your wall, very understandable. Grab a towel. If you have hardwood floors, you can do it laying down belly, you know, belly-wise prone, and do it just against the ground. You know, if you have somebody to help assist you to be able to slide upwards as well, that works great. There's a lot of options to being able to make these exercises happen, but you can see the difference and hear the difference from Bill of how much of a difference it has made for his kind of quality of life and everyday activity.
So Bill, I think one of our viewers would like to know, maybe review again, like where were you before you started the exercises compared to what we're seeing now, like in this?
I went for many years intentionally avoiding the use of my arms. At that time, the teaching was once muscle was not able to generate enough resistance to go anti-gravity, that the idea was exercise would harm it. So I was afraid of exercising my arms to the point where I could not bring my hand to my mouth, much less go overhead, without the support of, say, a table. So I had grade 2/5 biceps, grade 2/5 triceps. I don't know if this is meaningful to people. I could not bring my, I could not flex my own arm weight against gravity.
Yep.
And you just did it just like that.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Well, and even the bicep, Bill, I mean, you know, when we first started doing bicep curls, you pretty much told me it's not going to happen. And I think we had a good little giggle, and because he looked at me and I said, well, we're going to make it happen. We're going to find a way. And I'm pretty sure you could probably curl up to maybe 12 to 15 pounds now. What would you say?
I have 10-pound weights that I can do here. I don't have anything heavier at home, but I'd be happy to show off.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. It's great. It's great.
Thank you so much. So I don't know if there are other questions for Mitch and Bill today. A lot to think about. This is so much information packed into what you just said and showed us. So, and you probably need to, it's on the half hour, it's probably time for you to do your real workout without all of us.
It is that time. Absolutely. So, you know, we want to thank everybody again. You know, we want to really, you know, reiterate the fact as well. I'm gonna see if I can get myself back to the screen here. You know, ask questions. If you have questions, don't hesitate. You know, we can, whether it's an email, I can give some information there as well. You know, I don't mind. I would really love to assist as much as I can. And at least give you a couple of leads in the right direction. So don't feel like just because I'm not maybe local to you or something like that, that we can't at least get you going in the right direction and start on the
right
Oh,
foot.
we have one more question. Have you noticed any difference in the appearance of Bill's muscles since the exercises started?
100%. And so that's, for one, I mean, there's been a couple of times that when he walks into my gym, I will double take it because I didn't even think it was him. You know, when we first met each other at 24-Hour Fitness, that was about 4 years ago. The encaving of his front shoulders and just the postural alignment, you know, I mean, he looks like a complete different person. When it then goes into some of the muscles, we can see flexion and contraction of the biceps. We can see the triceps moving. We can feel the pecs working really well, the lats and stuff too. I think I'd probably say the soleus, we get the soleus working a lot. That's a big one that I'm going to put into a webinar in a couple of weeks of talking about some body balance from there. But yes, I mean, on a simpler form, 100%.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. We're looking forward to hearing from you again next week. So in the meantime, have a wonderful week. And we'll try to link and share those Instagram videos. I think they're also available on your Facebook page. Is that right?
I have not put it onto my Facebook page yet, so I can do that if people would like. For the most part, I've just been doing the Instagram for, you know, a little bit more of easy access. So it'll be on the Mitch Wade PDX Instagram, you know.
Okay.
I don't plan on taking that off at all.
Well, we'll make sure to like that, but we also have lots of people who are on Facebook and not on Instagram, so we'll share it with them as well.
That sounds, I'll do the same thing.
Well, let's see, something else just popped up. Something to consider for next week, some specific exercises to do at home when you are alone. Because some of the demos, some of the things you showed right now might be a bit dangerous for someone who's just trying it for the first time. So that's a suggestion from Mary Yep over at the Kennedy Krieger Institute.
Wonderful.
And also she said the idea of doing different parts of the body. So maybe exercises for one for each major part of the body would be great.
Absolutely. I like it. That sounds great.
Okay. Thank you. And we'll see you next week.
That sounds great. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks again, Bill and Mitch. Bye-bye.
Of course. See you later.